Welcome to another episode and video on my Arduino Yun, running embedded Linux and functioning as Arduino with a breadboard filled with electronics and connected fischertechnik motor and propellers. Last time I rewired a few things, skipping the transistors and getting the motors continuously running. Also again wired and probed to this oscilloscope, and since the rewiring, one of the potmeters is functioning exactly the opposite way it did previously. Whenever I give some input through the console, LEDs start working, and that is how it is for now. So let's first check if everything is still functioning. And let me hope the camera stays in position. So right now, giving some input, then suddenly LEDs start working. Now when I turn this up or down, actually, no, this is turning up, and the motor stops, motor on the right hand, then it stops when I pull it down again, and this potmeter is now, when I turn it down, it actually should respond accordingly. Which is not exactly working, and now this one responds. Anyway, that is the way it is working right now. Also with a button that works, and then some response from a motor, or should be. And what does this one do? Stops everything, and then it is supposed to run again, but it gives some jolts, and well, yeah, then it works again. So that is the current situation. But so far I haven't used even half of the Arduino Yun. If I look at this, it has the network interface, which I'm using for the console to give input. This, well, is power over USB. But another thing is this one, USB host. And this USB host can be used to access storage, or to write to storage using the Linux on this board. And that is what I'm going to do. So the purpose right now is for any of the data that I get, which isn't that much, but data is data, to store that on here and maybe read back and reuse. For that I need a few new commands, new to me anyway, and hopefully that will work out in a full use of this one, of the Linux, which runs here, and I have barely used it. When I started this whole series on the Arduino Yun, I made some discoveries and some experiments, and left it due to connecting everything to the Yun, well, now it's time to explore more. So let's see how that ends up. Right, so right now I have pointed the camera at the now attached USB memory stick, thumb drive, whatever you call it, to this host connector. Then the point is it really connected? Well, let's go here. I have logged into the Linux side of the Arduino Yun, which actually is called the Nano. And if I use a command to point out, no, then it says Nano Linux, which uses an MIPS chipset or CPU. Well, forget about that one. Anyway, using the message, let's scroll back. Well, open WRT with this command. I can, which is general Linux and Unix. Not all Unixes, by the way, but general Linux. Let's keep it that way. And I can see all hardware. And one of the things that I can see is that this line and this information, which is about this USB memory stick. Removable drive, and that's exactly what I want to use. So now I want to store data on it, and according to example and information which I find right here, I have to include file IO, and I have to say file system begin before I do anything else. So here is file io.h, header file actually, and here is file system.begin. So first, will this actually do anything? And yes, first upload, so I have to give the password, and it is correct. And it's done. So that is a good way to start. Now, what else is needed? I can forget about things, but I need to find out now how things are actually written to the thing. And here I get data file is file system open, and this is important. I really need to know how this one is mounted. Can I read anything from that drive? So, using standard Linux, and here I see that it is being detected, but as far as I can determine, it is not being mounted yet. So here comes the first thing to do. I need to mount it. If I where am I anyway? In root. Where am I now? In the root system. That's good. What's in the root system? MNT. That's good. So I could say mount auto whatever, which means whatever file system it is, and then go to, well, SDB. So actually that would be dev SDB to mount. Let's see whatever that gives. Right, no complaints. So what is on SDB anyway? What is on mount? See, I have to do with mount, not because SDB just gives that SDB is there, but mount gives the present content of that USB stick, which is not empty apparently. But now with I have to say file system open /mnt and then file append. That is what I have to use. So let's go from here to there. Right, so I have now written some extra code. Open a data file at the Linux side, which is going to be called /mnt/datalog text, so called data file. Then going here, I read here the console sensor, or the console read anyway, which is stored in consensor. Then I put, according to the example, through a string cast into data1 file, because here I initialize a string data1, and then if data1 is being is present, if it exists, if it is being opened, then print data1 into it, close, and print on the console that the data is written to file. If not, an opening in English and Dutch, and then a delay for 3 seconds. So let's see if this even compiles. Would be very nice indeed. And then most likely there will be a datalog.txt being created instantly, if it works. Right, so now we're going to see if this indeed is the case. It's not being created yet. Let's go here. Alright, so now data is being generated. Data written to file. Oh, that's nice. Is there a datalog.txt? Yes, there is. What is in it? Oh, this is not funny, because I can't open. No such file or directory? You're kidding me. Oh, yeah, right. Okay. I have to find it on mount. And then it says, really? This means Ctrl M, which is only carriage return. I didn't expect that to happen. Really? So, okay. There is actually data written, but I need to do it some other place. And where shall I do it? Well, after a value is being read, or being read. So then I will put this part of the code which I just have written. Well, I can read switch 2, but that is only that's just a switch, so I need some output, some value, pot meter value. Let's do it here. Sensor value, that should be something, which also means that I have to indent the code a bit. Increase, yes, this works, and then it will be con sensor, it will be sensor value. It will be sensor value. So let's see whatever happens now. Okay, that's it. Log in. And some text or some input anyway. Then what does it give now? And it says append, so I have to go entirely to the end, and there it goes. So this is being written, and that is very, very nice indeed. And there's still more being written. So this shows that I can now actually store all my data, not just reading here, but reading back everything. And it is the only downside, of course, that this file can get quite large. So how large is it now? Oh, only 641 bytes. 671. See, that can become quite large. Now it's not available anymore, so let's see. And it has stopped doing something because the console is not available anymore, and data start being written again when there is more data. So that's a very nice thing to do. Now this was reasonable success, but as usual, a number in itself doesn't say anything at all. Like a graph without legenda, without names and explanations along the axis, it doesn't mean anything. Totally meaningless. So I have to change that, and I am adding here data 1 is exactly the same as this. This should be working, and then sensor value. So let's upload, and then it would be nice if I indeed put a semicolon there. takes a bit of time. Alright. Log in and give some console input. No. That is better. Now it starts working again. So, and see, this is a lot better. Yes. Now numbers have meaning. Alright. And with this I can put everything completely through the whole code and have the data log nice. Now the only downside to this is that it would also be nice to read things back, and that as yet is not implemented, not done by me yet, but who knows, that will be possible. Although it would be nicer if I could do it somewhere here along the whole of the installation. And I know there is some piece of hardware, some shield to the Arduino that may be a display, because well, for this you need a computer, and this may be a computer but it has no display, so who knows. But in the meantime I think this is very nice. And how to deal with this, because that's another question. This is sensor value, this is just one thing, and the next thing is right here. So this means that I will have to copy this whole thing and put it right here. With respect to this one going here, so it's not much change, but it's change anyway. And that way it should work. Although I do mind data, although what I do not like is the Control M, which is the carriage return in ASCII, at the end. But I'm afraid I can't help that so far. So let's see how this works out. Will this indeed give that way? And then of course when everything is being done I need to differentiate between the various runs of the program, so I need to distinguish between that, but that will be. Let's first see if this works out. And this may become a big file, but I've already said that, I think. Yeah. Alright, now once again log into yes, some data, and checking and I do not see. Oh wait, that's of course another thing. Do I see everything every time? Output value 1 is being written. Yes, definitely. Output value 1207. Am I seeing that actually? No, I am not seeing that. Oh. But why? I should see that interchangingly, just as lines in between. And yet I do not. It's always the same line. Alright, where do I make a mistake? Data plus is this line, then data plus is string plus, and print line, data line, yeah. What am I missing? Am I missing something? It's not there. And yet I saw it in the output. It's here console print. Here is console print. So that's no change. Data 1. It's exactly the same. This as well. So I would assume that this is being printed. Or is it? It is being appended. It should be appended. This is remarkable. So let's do it again. Output value 1 is definitely being written. To screen anyway. What is the data size? Oh, 6 kilobytes by now. Yeah, definitely growing. But what's the content? Still only that one line is being printed. This is not good. No good at all. Yeah, I have to investigate this. Final part of this video. Everything works except for a new problem with the data file, which as shown is written in here through the USB host. So that works. Now the connection between Arduino and Linux is actually working. Still a mystery why exactly one data is being written and the other data is not being written. Should be, but I'm overlooking something apparently, clearly. And with some data added, let me give some input. and for some reason there is some well, there is some tone present. Not now anymore. And why does that only slow down and not stop? Alright, and then this one again. Anyway, I guess that will be it for now. So with a new experiment added to, still questions to answer, I thank you for watching. If you like this video, please subscribe to my channel. Give thumbs up, leave a comment, follow me on Twitter, retweet and like, leave a comment, follow me on Instagram, like and comment, leave a comment, very much appreciated. Please donate to keep videos coming to you. See the start of this video and on my website. You can also become a patron and have your name mentioned. And this is going to be continued. Bye bye.